Welcome to Secrets of the Art Business podcast. Practical tools, insightful conversation for the curious art professionals. I'm Daniela Dupen, your host for Season 1. I'm the founder of the Blonder Dealer blog and also an art professional for the past 15 years. I met some really interesting artists, curators, collectors, and professionals that I hope will give you some great insights into the art business. And why not? We're gonna find some great secrets. So join us for the conversation and for this incredible journey. This is episode 10 of Secrets of the Art Business podcast. We have here in the studio the collector Kamiar Maleki. Kam, thank you so much for being here for episode 10.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my episode 1.
I know how busy you are. I know that you are involved in a lot of different projects. So you are the director since 2019 of Volta Art Fair. And previously, you were also directing Contemporary Istanbul up to 2018. And also, you are an avid art collector. You've been collecting for the past 15 years or even more. And you're a patron of the arts. You founded the ICA Contemporary Institute of Contemporary Art patronage group, Young Patrons Group. You also really supported the career of emerging artists and really fostered, their career through the years and supported them a lot. So I appreciate that. And I think I brought you here to really talk about, from your experience and perspective. We're going to talk about art collecting. We're going to talk about art fairs, a lot of innovations that are happening in the market, and also a recent project that you just launched literally a few days ago on the NFT side. So a lot to talk about. And I wanted to take us on a journey about art collecting. You come from a family of art collectors from the sort of blue chip established artists, and then you went to your own path of collecting emerging artists. So tell us a bit about this journey through art collecting.
Well, yeah, again, thank you for having me. Basically, I've been very privileged enough that my parents have been collecting for over 30, 35 years. Since we've been young, we've been exposed to art, whether it is contemporary art or operas, impressionism. Actually, my love of art is truly in the old masters and the impressionist side of things, and that's what you see with a lot of my collection now, that they might be young and contemporary, but the way they paint, how they use their paint, and their process is very much a mature way. So we've been very fortunate to have the access very early on from my parents to not only see art, but to visit galleries, to talk to artists, to meet artists. And that has really had a profound effect on us as the kids growing up. When we graduated school, and at school, my father gave us a little bit of a seed money to invest in art, and that's how my own art collection started. So any art that we bought had to be bought from that money, and any art that we sold, the money had to go back into the fund.
All right.
And we repurchased. It was not allowed to be spent on anything else. So that is really how we fostered our relationship and entered the art world really with a passion that we have now.
And when you approach like art or artists, I mean, I'm talking from, for example, new collectors entering, and approaching emerging art or even more established artists. What are the tips that you would give for a collector to start on this journey because of all your years of experience, really?
Sure. It's very simple. First and foremost, buy what you love. It doesn't get any simpler than that. But the steps to buy what you love, what I personally do is I research a lot, I read a lot, I go to openings, I talk to artists, I talk to gallery owners, you talk to people who are mingling in the studios. The more information you have to dedicate yourself to the decision that you're about to make, the better it is, and the easier decision you will make. But yeah, it's all about gathering as much information as you can.
And at the moment, looking at your collection to date, do you have like maybe a theme or something that you developed? I know you collect also with your wife, Leila, who is also a fashion designer, and you're both like creative really in the industry, in the art world. And is there like maybe a theme or something that you more concentrate on, something that maybe through the years you developed together?
Absolutely. It started off very much as a painting canvas collection. So I love paint, I love canvas, I love the process of painting on canvas. And as long as I see the process of the artist, that's really what triggers me to want to buy it. But over the years, of course, the more I've been exposed to art, especially being a fair director where I get to see thousands of images a day from applicants to the fairs to the fairs I visit, my tastes change. So also with my wife, she likes different things than I do, and we definitely try to combine our love, because at the end of the day, it will hang in our house, and that's why it has to be something that we both love. But if my predominance is that I do like it, then I probably will win that debate.
So another question I have is like, do you try and live with the art that you have? Like, do you rotate the art on a current basis, or is it something that you have all in your home? Like, how do you live with the art?
We try to live with it, but obviously as your collection grows, I have over 80 pieces in my collection, and a lot of my pieces are 2 or 3 meters high, so so you can't really live with all of them at the same time. So what I do is I change a few. There's a predominant section which is there all the time, but I will change a few of the certain ones. I'm very fortunate enough that my parents just built a huge project in the south of France, and a lot of my pieces get to hang in their house and the residency we're building.
Okay, that's fantastic. So I want to also go to the sort of more art fair business now. And so you've been directing Volta Art Fair since 2019. Of course, you had the 2020 part and the pandemic. And did you do an edition with Volta, or you did in 2000?
Yeah, I did the New York fair in March. It was literally the last fair that happened. On the Friday of our fair, New York issued a state of emergency. So it was really the beginning of the pandemic. So it was a big baptism of fire, something I enjoyed tremendously because, in our business, we just love chaos, but making it organized.
Yes.
But we have had this incredible year now, actually. The fair was bought by Ramsey Fairs, which owns Affordable Art Fairs. It owns over 18 fairs in the world. So what this pandemic has allowed us to do was actually concentrate on the brand, concentrate on the image. We redesigned and redeveloped the website, created a lot of content on the website. Maybe not podcasts like this, but we created interviews and discussions.
Yes.
We tried to bring our collectors and our sponsors closer to the fair and vice versa to the galleries. And we initiated monthly reports, which have been extremely popular. So this time has actually allowed us really to focus on the fair, build the fair up. We are launching Miami this year for the first time for Volta. So we're adding even to the portfolio.
So you have Volta now coming up in September, right?
Yes.
In Basel.
Yes.
And then you're doing then Miami.
Miami in December.
And then I guess 2022 you have New York again, right?
So we're at the moment in the debating session, because obviously Volta has always been a satellite fair to the larger fairs.
Yes.
But now Armory and Independent have both moved into September, which has left us alone in March. So we're now debating what to do, whether we stick to March, which I personally would love to do because I love New York. I think it's a fabulous city. The older I get, the more I appreciate it. So we're hoping to do it in New York.
So just to explain for our listeners about Volta and the sort of target in terms of the galleries and the artworks that you're bringing. So can you tell us about Volta a bit?
Yeah, so Volta has been a fair that has been around 15 years. It was a fair that was created by dealers for dealers. Kavi Gupta was one of the first founders of Volta. So what they did was, it was founded in Basel. So it was for galleries that were too old to exhibit in Liste and too young and not mature enough to exhibit in Art Basel.
Yeah.
So very much the mid-career section of the gallery world, which is fabulous because
And it's
there's
so
a huge-
important, yeah.
Absolutely, there's a huge diaspora there. You know, even the mid-career galleries have emerging artists and more established artists. So we're really working with a huge array of galleries. So the aim for us really is to bring back the strong old guard of the galleries that used to exhibit at Volta, and a new, fresh, young, vibrant gallery sector. So we have this year, for example, straight off the back of our report on South Africa that we did last month, we have 2 African galleries joining us.
That's great.
For the first time, young, great galleries such as Kalashnikov, you know, we're talking to Berman Gallery for Miami. So it's exciting because this is what we're about. Volta is about discovery. It's about discovering art, discovering talent, discovering new galleries that you wouldn't see in any other fair.
No, that's wonderful. And I guess, you know, because you said this year really gave you the time to think about maybe a new way of structuring the fair and bringing some innovations. And with, you know, all the new things that are happening also in the art market, what are the new innovations, if you can talk about it, of course,
Sure.
that you're bringing to Volta in September this year?
Sure. So there are a lot of little things, but also a few larger things. So one of our core strengths is that we want to connect with our grassroots collectors. So we have hired a PR agency for the first time that is local, based in Zurich and Basel, which is neutral. They have previously worked with Art Basel. So we want to really engage with the community of Basel. There's about 180,000 people that live there. So we're targeting the 25 to 60-year-olds that are
Yes.
really actively trying to buy art. Then, you know, deeper levels where management changes, structure changes, but also, you know, we're trying to be the first, it was just printed in the New York Times yesterday, we're trying to be the first gallery that is working with an NFT gallery. So trying again to be relevant to the times that are changing right now.
And the technology as well that is evolving, and the new things really happening in the art world. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, so you have to embrace change. And
Yes.
when you embrace change, you take risks. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but yeah.
Yeah, and one of the things that you just said is that you're focusing on the local collectors because you know, that's where you're going to be in Basel. And I know Switzerland has a great history of collecting art and collectors, really. And so it's really, really, you know, good that you're focusing on the local side. And also in terms of like international, you know, bringing, you know, the international art there to the more local community and really impacting that.
I mean, don't get me wrong, we would still love all of the
Of
Basel
course.
visitors to come to our fair, and I guess that's one of the reasons they hired me as a fair director, because I am a collector, because I go to those fairs. But yes, the idea is really to bring out a new generation of art collectors that previously hasn't, maybe they were too afraid to join the race, maybe there were too many gatekeepers for them to actively chase collecting. This is, I think, one of the reasons why the NFT world is booming, because it's full of these guys that we've been trying to target all these years,
Yes.
but you know, they finally found an area where they can have the biggest impact.
Yeah, I believe before there was a barrier. There's still so many barriers for, I think, new collectors to approach the art world. And I think part of your job as a director of the fair is to break those barriers in the right way and bring in this audience to your galleries and to the fair, really.
And the beauty of being a small fair is we know our galleries intimately. So we know what they like, we know what they don't like. You know, and we actively encourage people to go up to them and talk to them. And they love that. They truly do love that.
No, that's very interesting. And then I think I would like to ask you about your most recent project. So it was just announced yesterday, and it's called Present Future.
Yeah.
Correct me if it's wrong.
Present the future.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a collaboration with artists for the first NFT residency. And also you have the musician, Tini Tempa. I was curious to see his name and
Yeah.
understand how is this like all fitting together. Can you tell us about
Yeah,
it?
sure. I mean, look, we've been, the mix of art and fashion and music has always been there. But I feel that there hasn't been a true link towards, like, even when you see NFTs being produced now, it's musicians producing over something else. there hasn't been a particular work that has been done specifically for a project like this. So in this case, we have worked with a young Iranian artist who has produced physical work for this.
Yes.
We are then working with a digital artist who will produce over the real works. And Tiny Tempa, who is 7 times #1 hit in the UK, super famous, but very charming, very humble, very energetic guy, and he's producing new music specifically for the NFTs.
Oh, wow.
So even though he's having a tour in November this year, none of this music will be heard. It's specifically for these NFTs. And there's going to be 2 unique ones. And what is special about our residency is we're going to be the first NFT that is going to be dropped after a live performance. So we're going to do the live performance. The artist is going to finish the work. The digital artist is going to finish the work. Once the live performance finishes, the next day we mint it and it goes live on auction.
So it's going to be first an experience.
Absolutely.
And then after this experience, which is so different from anything I've heard about NFTs so far, so people will experience it and then they'll be able to acquire it the next day.
So there's 2 unique editions and then there will be 5 open editions, and we're negotiating right now with Gemini, who own Nifty Gateways, hopefully to do something very exciting. But yes, it's the first time that we work off energy, so it's the first time it's really interactive. It's a hybrid collaboration, it's a hybrid collective. I'm actually very active in this. I'm going to the studios hopefully tomorrow. They're also in East London. So we're very engaging. We're very excited. Four Seasons Hotel is our partner.
Okay.
So hopefully we will be able to roll this out internationally as well, which is the plan for the future. So
wonderful.
To have 1 or 2 or 3 residencies across the world with the Four Seasons Hotel.
When is the residency starting? Is it starting?
It's starting on the 8th or 9th of June, and then it will finish the 13th, 14th, with the concert hopefully on the 12th of June.
And that's in the south of France, right?
It is, yes.
At the Hotel de Grand Cap?
Yeah, it's Hotel du Cap, which is basically a Four Seasons hotel.
Okay, that's great. I mean, I'm really looking forward to that and hearing more about. I don't know if I will be able to travel there.
Yeah,
I guess you'll have a digital presence to really understand
We're
what's
actually
happening.
going to be able to take over the Four Seasons account. We have our own website, which is presentthefuture.art, where we're going to probably stream live on that as well, and all of our Instagram. So
we'll link to the show notes here on YouTube and also on Spotify, all these different websites and the Present Future also websites. So people will go and link, and then we'll be able to discover more and read more about your project. And then also the next Volta fair that is happening in September. So we'll link everything, and also your personal Instagram, which it's a great source of inspiration, I have to say, for art, because you share so much about the things that you love and the things that you like, and it's such a, I would say, natural way to share art. And that brings me to the exhibition that you created back in 2015, which is called Hashtag Abstract, correct? And you created it in collaboration with Ronconi Gallery in London. It was really an interesting project back then, and nobody has really done anything before. Can you tell us about this concept?
Yeah, it basically came about because in 2000, it might have been 13 or 14, I bought my first piece off of Instagram. It was something I loved. It was a piece by Kasper Sonne, a Danish artist who I still love. And I saw the work, loved it, bought it, didn't see it until it landed in my apartment, and now it's still hanging in my bedroom. So it's a very special piece to me, because what this did, it allowed me to think of a concept because again, when you've been collecting for such a long time, you want to challenge yourself a little bit. So you always buy what you love, but then you don't test yourself to see if you have an eye or if you don't have an eye. So that's what wanted me to curate, and I guess this is what wanted me to go into the fair direction role, because you always want to challenge yourself, expose yourself to more, get better, get different ideas. So Yeah, so the collaboration came. He was my main inspiration for it, so he had to be in the show as well. Then I found a few other artists who I discovered over Instagram, and some I knew as well. So yeah, that developed into being the first show on how you bought, sold, and researched art on Instagram. Right after Richard Prince did his Instagram photo
Yes.
session, it was literally that, and it was the first show in the world. And we were lucky enough that Sachi came in personally and bought 2 pieces from the show.
Right.
We appeared on the BBC. It was really fun, but I don't think we appreciated it as much as we should have, because it was truly the first.
Well, now reflecting back to when you did the show in 2015, I mean, see how people actually appreciate and discover art nowadays. And I talked to different, guests on the podcast, and some of the sort of younger collectors, they discover the artists that then they feature in their collection or maybe in their gallery on Instagram. So it's a great tool for artists to be discovered. It has to be used by artists, there's no way, it's a visual tool. And also for collectors like you to really find it, in an interesting way. Of course, you still do all the research. Of course, you still, go and maybe try and, speak to them and understand a bit more about who they are. But I find it so interesting that you did that show back in 2015. That was, ahead of the game, really.
And what we'd like to do is make art more accessible for people. And Instagram is the tool to make it more accessible, because artists can do it in their own home, in their own studio. They have the ability to sell themselves the way they want to. So, of course, having a gallery or having a structure behind you helps you develop much faster. But it shows that these days, even with Clubhouse now, for example, there are fantastic ways to promote yourself without actually needing a structure there.
Absolutely. And I know that you're going to have a really interesting answer to this, but I wanted to ask you, what is your secret of the art business?
Always be hungry to discover more. Never be satisfied with what you see. Always try to find out more information, and just connect with the industry that you're active in, because it's such a fantastic industry. It gives you so many pleasures in life, that we can travel, we can see the world, we could witness different things. So yeah, just enjoy and really discover.
No, that's a great advice. I mean, from my point of view, it becomes like a lifestyle. It becomes like your life, and your life is like connected with the artists that you meet, and you develop like really personal relationship with them. They become your friends, they become your family, and you create this really great community internationally, I guess.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, Kamir, for coming here. Thanks you for sharing your views and your experience. I'm sure that many collectors, many people will be inspired by what you just shared. And this is for closing of episode 10. So thank you so much for our listeners. And please do go and check out us on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Podbean. And do comment or rate on the episodes, because it's so important. And please do stay for our journey. We're going to have a few more episodes before we close this season. Thank you so much.
Thank you.